Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are safe at your homes. Today I am starting here chapter 6. This is life process. So students, if I am asking to you what are the differences between the living things and the non-living things, the simple answers are there. They can mutile, they can respire, they can show their growth, and they can move from one place to another place, and they can do their work also. Okay, so all these are functions which are differentiated from the non-living organisms. Apart from that, if I am asking to you, is plant that is living things or the non-living, that the simple answer is they are the living organisms. So how it would be possible if they are the non-motile things but they are showing their growth? So students, is a new term that is depicting here the molecular movement. As we know very well, our basic life unit is the cell, and these cells which are also made by the molecules. So the molecules, when they get the heat and energy, they vibrate themselves, and after vibration the molecules will be show their movement, and the cell will be also perform their functions. Now when the cell will be perform, the tissues and the organs, and finally the organism will be perform their functions. So the molecular movement, the basic responsibility of the molecular movement, that is to maintain and repair of the body. So students, that all the functions which are conducting in the particular life processes. So students, this is the life process, and what do you mean by the life process? So all the functions which are performing in the particular lifespan from birth till the death. Okay, so these are the basic functions like nutrition, digestion, respiration, transportation, and the excretion. These are the processes which are conducting in a particular lifespan, and they have to be conducting very well for the survival of the particular person. So now I am describing here the first process, that is the nutrition. So what do you mean by the nutrition? The nutrition is that process of taking in food and utilizing it is called the nutrition. Suppose we are taking any food, and afterwards how can we get the energy from the particular food? Okay, so the nutrients are there, and so many types of nutrients are there, like carbohydrates, minerals, vitamins, proteins, roughage also, and the water also. Just all these things which are very essential for our life. Okay, so these are the basically coming in the nutrients. So the process of taking in food and utilizing it is called the nutrition. And nutrients is a substance which organism obtain from its surrounding. Okay, so all these are getting from the surrounding and they are utilizing themselves. The first is the nutrition, which is dividing into autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. In autotrophic nutrition, that they can make their own food. Okay, so in this category coming the phototrophic nutrition and the chemosynthetic nutrition. Fine. And in the heterotrophic nutrition, in this type of nutrition, that the organism cannot make their own food, they are directly or indirectly dependent on the autotrophic plants. In such manner, these are the four categories like saprophytic nutrition, symbiotic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and the holozoic nutrition. So students, saprophytic nutrition, that means the dead and decaying plants which are decomposed by some bacteria or the fungi, and they make the simple substances. Okay, so the dead and decaying plants or organism they are the complex material, and they will be break down by the decomposers and making the simple substances. So this process is called the saprophytic. Fine. The next is the symbiotic nutrition. Just in a simple word we can say the coordinating or the coordination with each other. Suppose the example is here, the lichens or we can say the hermaphrodites are there. So one organism is giving the shelter and another one is giving the food, and in such manner both organisms are coordinating with each other. This type of nutrition, that is called the symbiotic. Likewise the algae and fungi, which is the fungi is giving the shelter to the algae, and algae they can prepare the food for the fungi also. Okay, so now this term is, that is the symbiotic nutrition. The third is parasitic mode or the parasitic nutrition, in which the organism which is completely depend on the host body. Okay, fine. So they can be live outside or the inside of the body. So they can be exoparasites or the endoparasites. Now the examples are here: the Cuscuta in the plants Amerbate, and they are totally dependent on the trees and they climbing to the particular trees. Fine. And now the tapeworms, which are the worms and live in the host body, in the human beings. Fine. So they are getting their nutrition or the nutrients from the host body. Now the next is there the holozoic nutrition. Holozoic nutrition in such manner, if the particular food particles that is getting by the organism, and afterwards whole the processes like the digestion, like the assimilation, like the absorption, like the respiration or the excretion, all will be completing in the inside of the body. This, in such manner, this type of nutrition, that is called the holozoic. That means just we are engulfing the whole particle of the food. Okay, or afterwards it will be breaking down into the simple particles inside our body by the different processes. So students, these are the different nutritional methods in the autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. Just autotrophic nutrition, I am introducing here the photosynthesis, that is the green plant, because they are containing the chlorophyll, green pigment, which is necessary for the photosynthesis. Okay, so just look at here the first leaf structure. You are looking at here the phloem and the xylem. These are the vascular bundles, and with the help of them, the xylem they transporting the water and minerals, and the phloem that transport the food prepared by the leaves. So both are the responsible and very helpful and important organ or the bundles in the leaves. And we know very well the leaves are called the food factory of the plant because they make the food in their sides. Okay, so let us see the structure of the leaves. First, just you are looking at here the waxy cuticle, upper side of the leaf, and below this waxy cuticle, because waxy cuticle protect the leaf from the sunlight, so that's why it cannot be dry or it cannot be damaged. Fine. After this, the upper epidermis below the waxy cuticle, this is found here, and now the mid part, that is called the mesophyll. This part, that is called the mesophyll, where you are looking the palisade tissues or the palisade cells, and these are the spongy areas. Okay, so here these are the air spaces, and now students, you are looking at here some round circles, just you are looking, they are the chloroplast. So now the chloroplast, which are containing the chlorophyll, and the chlorophyll which is responsible for the photosynthesis. Fine. So we can say here the mesophyll is the particular site of the leaf where the photosynthesis is conducted. Now, and these are the lower epidermis where the guard cells are present, and by this stomata, the opening of the leaves, where the water and the carbon dioxide which is entered through this stomata inside the leaf part. So the photosynthesis is occurred in the leaves or in the plants. So what are the basic steps which can be performed by the leaves? The first is the mechanism is there, absorption of sunlight energy by the chlorophyll. So students, firstly, in the presence of sunlight and in the chlorophyll, the carbon dioxide and water will be entered into the leaves where they By the chemical reaction, they frame or they produce the glucose or the food for the plant. Okay, so the first is the absorption of sunlight energy by chlorophyll. The second is conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water molecules. Okay, so this is the water molecule, and by the heat it will be split, and after splitting it will be converted into the hydrogen and oxygen molecules. Okay, and afterwards this reduction of carbon dioxide by hydrogen to form carbohydrates. So when this water will be split into hydrogen and oxygen, the hydrogen ion will be attached to the carbon dioxide and it will be produce the glucose molecule here. So all this reaction, that is the chemical reaction. So students, in the term of photosynthesis, we can say the light energy is converting into the chemical energy, and the splitting of water, hydrogen and oxygen ions performed, which the reduction of carbon dioxide, the glucose will be produced. Here you are looking the structure of the stomatal and the guard cells. Now these are the guard cells and which are having the nucleus. Okay, so the big vacuoles are there, the nucleus is there, and the green structures, dotted structures are there, which called the chloroplast, and in the chloroplast the chlorophyll is present there. So students, what happened when these guard cells will take the water vapors or the water molecules, they will be swollen up. Fine, and after swelling the stomata will be open, and fine, all the air and the water molecules or the water will be entered inside the leaves, and finally after the synthesis of the food, fine, the photosynthesis process will be occurred in the leaves, and the waste products will be come outside from this stomatal pore. So what happened when the air and water will be entered, the water vapor or the water molecules will be excreted from the guard cells and they will shrink. After shrinking the guard cells, the stomatas will be closed. So these are the basic mechanism of the opening and closing of the stomatas. Fine. Students, as we have seen many times, just the dark reactions and the light reactions which are occurring in the leaf. Fine. In the daytime, that is a light reaction, because what happened, the leaves, they are capturing the sunlight and they occur, and the splitting of water molecules and reduction of the carbon molecules will be occurring in that particular light energy. Okay, and the dark reaction, which is the absent of the light, it will be also occur in the night time. Fine. So the next one is here, heterotrophic nutrition. In heterotrophic nutrition, the organism cannot prepare their own food. They are depend on other autotrophs or the nutrition. Okay, so they are not the perfect or the particular making the food. They are directly or indirectly depending on the autotrophs. So students, I have already discussed about the different modes of the heterotrophic nutrition, like the saprophytic, symbiotic, holozoic and the parasitic mode. So I am describing here in the brief and the detailed manner the holozoic nutrition. Just first I am describing here the nutrition in the amoeba. Fine. Amoeba, that is the unicellular organism and that has no any specific organs. Fine. So the pseudopodias are there, and the pseudopodias which are the false feet, and they are performing their different functions. Fine. So first what happened, the pseudopodia extension of the cell membrane and they capture the food. So students, you are looking at here the food particles which is coming to the amoeba. Now the pseudopodias which surround the food particle. Okay, and afterwards when they take in the food particles inside it, that they frame the food vacuole. Now when the food vacuole come inside the body, the digestion of the food vacuole. Okay, so the digestion of the food vacuole conducted in the food vacuole. How? the lysosomal organelles are there and which secrete the enzymes and in the food vacuole where the digestion would be completed. After digestion, by this simple diffusion method, the digestive substances or the simple substances will come outside in the cytoplasm. Fine. So this method is called the absorption. And after absorption, the assimilation process will be going on where the nutrients will be provided for the different type of activities for the organism. So now after assimilation or gaining the energy by the organism in the different metabolic activities, the waste product will be excreted or be thrown out by the surface of the amoeba. So this is the nutrition in the amoeba. And similarly, the paramecium, which is also a unicellular organism, all the processes like ingestion, like digestion, absorption, assimilation and excretion will be similar, but what is the major difference between them? The specific organ which is responsible for the coming and outside of the particle, and that is the mouth. Fine. So it will be decided that in a particular opening the food particle will be come inside the body. So students, this is the nutrition in the amoeba. Now you are looking at here the human digestive system. Here we know very well human digestive system is another example of holozoic nutrition. So first just look at the structure of the human digestive system. You are looking at here, this is the mouth, and inside the mouth, that is also called the buccal cavity. Inside the teeth and the tongue which are present and which help for the breaking down of the food into the simple substances. Okay, so the digestion will be begin in the mouth. Afterwards, this mouth which is connected with the esophagus or the food pipe. Students, you are looking at here, these are the salivary glands in the mouth, and by these salivary glands, the enzyme salivary amylase which is secreted by them into the mouth for the digestion of the carbohydrate nutrient. Fine. So first is here, the mouth is connected with the esophagus or the food pipe, and which is also surrounded or the covered by the mucus and some muscular cells. Fine. For the helping, by the help of them, they move by the contraction and expansion of them, the food is moving into the J-shaped structure which is called stomata. Which is called stomach. Now in the stomach, that is also covered with the lining of the mucus. This stomach which is attached with the intestine. Here you are looking. So this is the large intestine and this is the small intestine. Fine. And apart from that, this you are looking in the above side, the liver is here. Leaf-like structure, this you are looking. And this is the gallbladder, and by this gallbladder, the bile juice will be secreted. Okay. So it is stored here. The bile juice is stored in the gallbladder. Fine. And afterwards, it will be secreted by the bile duct to the small intestine. Fine. And this is the pancreas, and this is the exocrine and endocrine gland which secretes the digestive juices. Finally, the large intestine which is wider than the small intestine, so that's why we are saying this is the large intestine. Now the coiling of the small intestine, and it is very long tube like structure. Okay. So students, for the maximum digestion and absorption can be conducting proper manner, so it is a long tubule like structure. Now this large intestine is connected with the rectum, and afterwards the waste products can be thrown out from the anus outside of the body, and this anus which is also controlled by the sphincter muscle cells which is controlled before the contraction and expansion of the particular sphincter muscle cells, the waste products can be thrown out the body. So this is the digestive system structure of the digestive system of the human being. So what is the mechanism of the digestion in the human being? Let us see here. First, the food will be entered into the mouth, and here by the help of the teeth and the tongue. Okay, the teeth, they are helping for the chewing and the grinding, and 4 types of teeth are occurred, like incisors, like canines, like premolars and the molars. These type of teeth which are occurred in the mouth, and the tongue which help in the rolling and tasting of the food. Fine. So with the help of them, the salivary glands which secrete the salivary amylase by the secretory glands in the mouth, and they digest the carbohydrates into the simple substances. Okay, simple glucose or the simple sugar. So first, the question can be asked ki in the mouth which nutrient is firstly broken down into the simple substances. So we can give the answer that they are the carbohydrates. When the food will be breaking down, this type of food will be entered into the esophagus, or we can say that is the food pipe. Fine. So here that food is from the mouth. Esophagus is showing the peristaltic movement by the contraction and the expansion of the muscular cells. Fine. So now this type of contraction and expansion of the esophagus, the food will be entered into the stomach. Okay, and here the stomach that has secreting the gastric juices. Which type? Like the pepsin, which broken down the proteins into the peptidoses or the small substances, like the HCl, which gives the acidic medium for the food, and it also kills the bacteria and the germs which are coming with the food in the stomach. So they kill the bacteria or the germs in the stomach. Okay, so now the food will be free from the bacteria. Afterwards, the mucus, and which protect the lining of the stomach wall for damaging from the hydrochloric acid or the HCl. So students, afterwards, and one thing more, the acidic medium is necessary for the action of the pepsin enzyme. Okay, afterwards, when the proteins will be breaking down into the simple substances, this type of food will be entered into the small intestine, where the liver and the pancreas secretes their gastric juices. So what could be here? The first, liver is secrete the bile juice. Okay, so the bile juice, and which gives the acidic medium for the food, because that is necessary in the small intestine, that the medium should be alkaline. Okay, afterwards the pancreas secretes the different pancreatic juices, like carbohydrates for the breaking down of the carbohydrates, fats and proteins. And here are the trypsin, the lipase and the pancreatic amylase. Okay students, so what could be first? The liver, which secrete the bile juice, and it is also breaking down the large fat globules into the small fat globules, and this process is called the emulsification. Okay, so by the emulsification, small fat globules that are breaking down by the lipase completely into the fatty acids and the glycerol. Okay, so first is breaking down of the fat globules. Afterwards, we can say the proteins, and they are breaking down by the secretion of trypsin enzyme into the simpler substances, and they are the amino acids, and finally the carbohydrates, which are also breaking down by the pancreatic amylase into the simpler glucose or the simple substances. So students, we can say here the complete digestion of the food will be occurred into the small intestine. Now, after the digestion of food, students, that is very necessary for us to engulf the energy or to produce the energy for requirement of our different metabolic activities. Apart from that, just we can say are different finger-like projections which are found in the small intestine to maximize the surface area of the absorption of the nutrients. So after the digestion, the maximum absorption of conducting of the nutrients will be conducting into the small intestine. Okay, so all the completion of the digestion and the nutrition will be in the small intestine. But what about the water? So let us see here in the large intestine, maximum amount of the water will be absorbed by the wall of the large intestine. So students, the completion of the absorption of water will be had into the large intestine. So what about the waste products? Approximate they are all the waste, so it will be excreted by the rectum throughout the anus from our body, and this anus that is also regulated by the sphincter muscles, by the contraction and expansion of them, that these waste products will be gone outside of the body. So that is the method which is depicting here in the human digestive system. And now this is the Holozoic nutrition. So students, that is the nutrition and digestion part that has completed here. Thank you so much.